Welcome on in, everybody. I'm glad to be back with the Newbie and the Beast tournament, which I'm running myself. Today we're going to find out who's going to be the second team to make the finals of the event. Now it's big stakes, of course, because this bracket has a €100 winner-take-all prize. So if you want any money, you gotta win this series, and only one of the two teams are obviously going to be able to get there. Now, to start out with, let's actually check out the point in the tournament that we're currently at. Up is this, well, let me check this out. Yep, that's where we are. Perfect. Actually, maybe we can even make this a bit better. Hold on for just a second. Yeah, probably this is better. Let's check this out. Yep, okay. Well, it's a bit scuffed, but we have Daniel and Hooney already making the finals from the first semis that we've seen on this stream. If you want to watch that, it's also on the YouTube playlist. Everything is available. But that is the number one seeded team, and they're waiting in the finals for whoever ends up winning this one today. We have Elhyar and PLP, Team Baguettes, as they were named in the replay files that I was sent, against Bebe and SaltedPepper, who are Team Aussies according to the replay files, which I didn't even know. SaltedPepper shows with a Dutch flag on the AOE insights, but you know, to not always trust those, because Viper shows with a German flag there, so really all bets are off. Either way, this is going to be the series. As a reminder, it is best of 3. You need to win 2 maps to get to the finals, and we're going to start with a 2v2 on Nomad. That is going to be the first game. After that, there's a potential 2 more games of 1v1 between the newbie players or the beast players on each teams. We're going to again emphasize that when we get there, but for now, let's check out the game 1 draft, and that is it. Now, just a quick explainer, we're playing on Nomad here, of course, and both teams were able to pick 5 civilizations in total. After that, they were able to snipe one of them, and we see Portuguese and Mongols being taken out after the fact. And so, yeah, this is the draft that we ended with. Now that's 4 civs for both teams, and of course, it's only one game, so it's a bit of a mind game here, which civs they're actually going to select going into the game. Right, all these are good nomad civilizations. Berbers, Malay, definitely nice, right? You have Vietnamese, you have Bengalis on the other side, also cool civs that I could see being picked. So we'll see which 2 of these 4 civs each team will actually select. So in order to find out, I say let's just jump into the game. Oops, actually the event command here is not the right one. That is not what we're looking for. If you want to find out more about this event, you can type into the Twitch chat !N and B, as it is outlined here at the middle top of the screen. Either way, this is game 1, so let's get it going, shall we? Elhyar and PLP on the left side here against SaltedPepper and BB on the right. And we see the first town centers already coming out, and again we see players planting relatively close together, which is exciting. Also, as a heads up, I always like to cast with the camera, but it's hot as shit today in Germany, so I'll try to minimize the amount of nipples on stream, but I can't guarantee it. Okay, we're gonna get a fiesta here. Wow, look at this. PLP getting into the mosh pit. Oops. Let's see, what is the chat? PLP thinking there might have been a bug, he can't drop the TC. Probably because he tried to drop it within range of another guy's TC. I would assume that was the problem. It is funny though. Let's go back and see just the all of that chat. Oops. Is it gonna pop up again? Maybe not actually, which is sad. But yeah, they were speculating maybe he did in fact drop 2 docks or something. Actually, I'll move the tournament logo a bit more upwards. It's Newbie and the Beast here. Okay, there we are. Now, this is again super exciting. I love how we always end up with everybody planting their TCs so close together. Let's quickly, before the game escalates, show the Civ overviews. On one side we have Italians and Vietnamese. So that's what we have for Team Aussies. Is that actually the Australian flag up there? Capture Age provided that flag for me. It looks a bit weird, because that looks like the Southern Cross, but I thought the Southern Cross was on the New Zealand flag. But that one has red stars, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'm mixing stuff up. Either way, it's a good looking flag, although it's a bit scuffed in terms of its size. Now, actually, let's talk about the game, shall we? Italians and Vietnamese, that's for the Aussie team. They are orange and purple right here, right? So you can see they've got PLP kind of sandwiched in here. And having Vietnamese, quite good civilization for Nomad. You see where the opponent starts. If we can activate their vision real quick, you can see they have perfect information of where the enemy's town centers are. And this is really criminally close quarters. We're going to see a lot of deer denial here and laming, I would assume. There's still a boar that's currently in the dark. Neither team has spotted that. That is big. It looks like PLP will actually find it in a second. I would imagine him moving out right about now to try and grab it, as that's extra food that he might otherwise not get. Italian's also a nice Civ for Nomad, simply because you're able to get that fishing eco up a bit easier, and you're able to advance to the next age a little bit earlier. And both things are extremely important on water maps especially. Now let's also throw up the civs real quick for Team France, Team Baguettes. We have Malians and Berbers. Not bad. Let's pull them up too real quick before things get real heated. There we go. Now, then we have kind of the Elhyar here, the Malians, in the western flank, a bit more separated from the rest, although really not far apart either. He's sitting there with a civilization that is pretty strong. It seems to be pretty highly prioritized in these Nomad team games. I'm not entirely sure why they're so high on everybody's team list, or tier list rather. I understand that they're a good Civ. Maybe the wood cost reduction on all buildings is just so great for Nomad. It could definitely be the case. But it doesn't really have an eco bonus, right? It doesn't have a super strong navy or anything, or a strong military rush, a strong FC. None of that, at least not in my opinion. So I'm surprised that it sometimes gets picked so early here. But people seem to be very confident with it. Also, as a reminder, maybe Elhyar is the newbie player. So is BasicallyBebe. Both of them are pretty much at the same elo in the 13 to 1400s. And on the other side, PLP and SaltedPepper are the beast level players. Both also around the exact same elo, both around 2200, at least by the time that this tournament was launched. So elo-wise, these are extremely interestingly matched teams. We can expect a lot from. Now let's focus in on the action and see who might actually end up getting to the next age first, what the builds will be. As we already see, there's some laming going on there. This time it's Bebe going out to wall in all of that gold in the north. Interestingly, as SaltedPepper is already mining gold in Dark Age here. I wonder what the play is going to be there for the Italians. Just one village on gold, slowly but surely gathering that up. It seems possible that an FC could come out here from SaltedPepper, which is a bit unusual when you're right next to an enemy, and you might expect an early play from them. But then again, the Berbers, they might ideally want to FC themselves, right? So it's interesting. Oh yeah, thanks for the information here, Whisperer. Malian's able to produce the first fishing ship instantly due to the building discount. That makes sense, right? That's a 15% wood discount on all buildings is incredible, right? I mean, that counts for everything, I would assume, right? It should count for the first TC, for the dock, and for the house, so I would not be surprised at all if you actually were able to start fishing ship production right away. And so that bonus, I agree, is probably massive. Maybe you're like 1 or 2 fishing ships ahead throughout the game. I just wonder if that is enough to validate the pick, or at least such a high priority. But we'll see what Elhyar is going to be able to do here. Similar to Persians, I guess, in a way, right? Persians start with that extra wood, so they kind of... But Persians have also got the faster working docks and TCs, so that, right, they have a bit more of an eco bonus going for them. But then you can argue Malians have other strengths, so I definitely wouldn't argue I hate the pick or anything. It's just not one that I'm super familiar with, and I'm not a real nomad player myself, so I'm definitely not gonna argue from a point of authority or anything. Gonna see a tower drop here, I would assume. That's exactly what SaltedPepper is doing. That's going to be extremely annoying for PLP. Evidently, because he's got no space to even retreat to, right? I mean, is this his own woodline, really? I mean, there's some wood in the south, but that's already quite far apart, or far away. This isn't Harris Coliseum, no. Is it claiming to be Harris Coliseum? Didn't I update the title? I hope I did. Either way, it's the my own tournament that I'm running. I hope the command is actually working. Let me just check that real quick. N and B. Well, command is working at least, yeah. 100 euro prize pool in this bracket right here. The winner of the bracket gets all of it. This is the semifinals, and as you see, we've only just started the series. This is replays, by the way, but I don't know the result of this series, so it's as good as live. Okay, you're messing with me. That's fine, it's fine. SaltedPepper, a lot of early pressure, man. That early uptime, the Italian bonus coming in clutch, getting the discounted age up, and he's putting pressure. He's got that archer out, that's why he went for gold early, but he's put a lot more on gold now, so he wants to keep this archery range producing, and it's not going to be an FC at all. Whereas for a PLP, he's heavily on stone right now. Perhaps thinking about getting a couple of towers out themselves, because an FC is certainly not going to be an option with this amount of pressure. And look at the archers, they're absolutely terrorizing this eco and making it difficult to get the tower up, which in the end is going to complete. So that woodline for now is going to be up and running. Ooh, and there we have PLP trying to get out for some gold, but we'll find out to their horror that it's all walled in already. Terrible start here for the beast player of Team France. What is the adaptation going to be? There's barely any space to farm it, or well, to do eco in. It's getting harassed everywhere already. Power of Italians, am I right? BB now also in the next stage, apparently going to go for the FC there, just like the Malians as well. So we're gonna see the 2 newbie players going for the FC builds, with the beast players electing or being forced to stay in feudal age a little bit longer, depending how you want to look at it. 5 archers already for the Italians, being extremely annoying. Look at this. This tower barely secures the woodline. And I like this play. This woodline is still very much towerable. And where do you go from there if you're PLP? If you're completely sandwiched in, you kind of need to evacuate a few villages, but how? You're completely surrounded. This doesn't look too great. Ah, man. Okay, he's trying to get to the south now. He is evacuating, apparently. The tower will go up there. I don't think PLP has vision of this. No, not just barely doesn't. Sheep here also not going to spot it. It's Castle Age on the way for Elhyar at least. So the fastest FC time will be had by Team France. That being said, the archers now having made their way over there, Also able to harass in the north. In this house wall. A makeshift barrier that I don't think is going to hold up for very long. Even fletching is already in, so these archers do hurt whenever they land shots. Castle Age is in for Elhyar, and he immediately goes for the castle backwards to secure the resources there. Not a terrible spot by any means, but look at this. PLP forced into a defensive tower here. A real tough spot to be in, to be sure. Ah, look at this. These poor villagers, they're suffering. They're just trying to get some wood. Barely end up surviving. BB also arriving in Castle Age now. And having the stone to go for a castle drop. That's exactly what she's doing. Going to plant it directly on PLP's face. Contrasted with the Malian castle, that is a lot more pressure. Is PLP going to be able to stay alive here? There's no pressure pretty much at all on SaltedPepper, able to still mine resources peacefully, chop wood at the original wood line. No issues there whatsoever. Another tower from both parties coming out. It seems like PLP is just going to get squashed here in the middle. Archers forced the defense. Okay, yeah, that was not a castle by choice. Obviously, like that was definitely felt the need to protect the eco there, which is reasonable. But that's the advantage of this positioning and of the early uptime for Team Aussies. Look at this tower front line here. It's so difficult, man. It's so difficult. PLP's got these gold miners over there. I haven't focused on the water aspect of the map at all just yet, but there as well we have SaltedPepper coming out with a couple of fire galleys. The only player who has navy on the map right now, but PLP answering with a fire himself. But what else does he have, man? It's so tough. Seems like he's running out of space here in the middle. Starting TC will go down rather soon. And almost has the rest to click up to Castle Age, but even if he did, he probably couldn't click up because the TC seems to be going down soon here. So he's really stuck between a rock and a hard place. Oh. Okay, Gebettos against Rattan Archers. For now, the two Western players here battling out a bit with some of these UUs. Villager numbers clearly and heavily in favor of Team Aussies right now. They're having a great start to this, and remember, they're the underdogs. They're the third seed, although just barely, I should mention, right? The elos of these two teams virtually the same. But they're having a great start to this first game. What can the French team do to change the way this is going? It's so hard. I mean, they don't even have any wood to place another TC here. PLP finds the only spot where wood can be taken, while the tower has actually been taken out here. So finally, the southern wood line is able to be chopped again. That being said, another row of archers come in, and SP is gonna hit Castle Age soon here. Honestly, should seal the deal, right? When you have two players in Castle Age against one who doesn't even have a TC, it would appear like the imbalance is becoming too big at this point, isn't it? Rotten Archers in the south, also still terrorizing here. It's Castle Age for SP. PLP scrambling to find eco space here underneath the tower, but already getting closed in on from both the sides there as well. Second TC for both members of Team Australia actually up already. And that tower won't go up either. Another castle for BB. That should seal the deal, shouldn't it? And that is pressure. Taking full advantage of the spawn. Well, I guess you mean like the closeness of everything, I would imagine. Yeah. I mean, they had this poor guy PLP completely sandwiched in between the two of them. They capitalized really well. Early uptime from SP, clean build there, and then BB similarly to the first round, I think, if I remember correctly. Just going for the FC, Castle, Samratan. I feel like I've seen this movie before. It's worked out really nicely again here. It's the second Castle. PLP is pretty much out of the game at this point. Like, do we have villager number count somewhere down here? No, apparently not. But you can see the amount of villagers they have on every resource, and that doesn't look pretty for Team France. Trying for a castle drop forward themselves now, but it seems to be all too late. 21 villagers. Well, the villagers are up there. I'm just blind, excuse me. I'm just a noob to capture age, apparently. That happens when you don't cast team games a lot. And that's it. GG's are called. And this is Team Australia taking the first game. Being the lowest seed, always exciting to start a series off with an underdog victory. Okay, well, that was swift and clean execution there. Oh, yeah, and then Elhyar being caught by surprise with the archers coming there as well. Couldn't have made things easier, I imagine. And that's the first game, so now it's PLP and Elhyar who get to choose if they want to have the newbies play a 1v1 or if they want to have the beasts play their 1v1. So it could either be SaltedPepper against PLP now or BB against Elhyar, depending on what the French team wants. I'll see, I guess, what the replays say. It says here game 2. It seems to be BB against Elhyar for game 2, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll verify that. It seems like that game was chosen. Let me check if I can find the draft for that game as well. I should have it here. I assume they posted it when they played. Oh, that was the wrong one. That is the right one, okay. Yes, I got it. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Now, you've got the drafts right here, right? The way this map draft works is there's 3 maps in the tournament map pool: Arabia, Enclosed, and Lowland. I picked these 3 because I think they're fun. No big reason behind it. They're also quite different, I feel, and also no water maps, so I feel at home there. So there's a mind game going on while drafting here, because Elhyar saying they would have liked to play on Enclosed, and the logic, the way it works is there's 3 maps, right? Both players get to select a map. If both players end up selecting the same map, that is the map that will be played. If both players end up selecting different maps, then the third leftover map that nobody selected will be played. So the map picks are blind, obviously, so you don't know what the opponent selected. And Elhyar saying, yeah, they were gambling that BB might pick Arabia, because they wanted to play on Enclosed, so they selected Lowland. But BB ended up going for the random choice, and it ended on Lowland as well, so that's funny. And that's why Lowland is going to be the map for game 2. Now, after this map draft, you get to play, you get to pick the civs, obviously, and now they've settled on Lowland. They know which kind of civs they would like, and this is the way they ended up drafting. Here as well, you get 2 bands that are blind, so they could actually end up being the same civ. It wasn't the case here. Berbers and Gujaras were banned by these 2 guys, and then we went into a 4 civ draft, after which 2 were sniped from each side. So Elhyar has now the option to go into the game with Cumans or with Incas, whereas BB has the choice between Magyars and Spanish. And in the lobby, the civs will be hidden, of course, so you don't know until you actually get in the game what the matchup is going to be. it is kind of 4D chess with the map draft, yeah. I'm not always a fan of this, right? Because I think it's cool when the format and the draft rewards preparation and strategy, whereas this map draft is kind of just a lottery, a gamble. But I think it still rewards preparation enough because you can do it's just 3 maps, right? So it's not like you're gonna have to place a random map out of the map pool. You can kind of have a strategy for all 3 of the maps. So if you prepare a good Civ draft for all 3 maps, you should be fine heading into the match regardless, right? So I'm not always a fan of these kind of randomization things or, yeah, well, luck factors, but I think this still rewards preparation enough where it's a fun idea to have for a map draft, and I'm not aware of any major tournament doing it like that before, so I like to try stuff out sometimes. Okay, now let's actually go in the game. Personally, I have no idea. It's like, they could be selecting any of these civs, and I wouldn't be shocked. These are all good civilizations, and especially since this is the newbie 1v1, as I always say, in lower elo play, the meta isn't even important, right? You just pick what your strengths are. You don't need to worry too much about meta. That being said, we're jumping in the game now. It's game 2, and I have 1 game lead for the Aussie team here, which BB actually ended up selecting the Spanish, and Elhyar on the other side with the Incas. That is an interesting matchup, man. Ooh, that's interesting because I always say the Incas, they're an amazing civ. They have an answer for everything. Really good, cheap stuff, super flexible. But one thing that does always end up being a problem is gunpowder, at least for me personally. So Spanish conquistadors could be annoying. Okay, well, let's see. We've got lowland here. In case you're not familiar with the map, this is the way it looks, right? You have these kind of plateaus where the players spawn with not a lot of res. So it's quite limited actually. And then you have a lot of res here in the valley, in the lowland, so to speak. A lot of food, a lot of everything really. So that's why I like this map. It's kind of like Golden Pit if not only the gold was in the middle, but everything, right? So yeah, a center control map, but it's also both players can feasibly get into the middle here. Not like sometimes on Golden Pit where one player gets control and the other has a really tough time getting there. I like this map a little bit more for that reason. So that's why I selected it for this map pool. Spanish, an interesting pick. Probably just one of BB's personal favorites. They're mostly known for their good nomad play, right, with the fast building speed on the villages, but also conquistador play, so any map that you can fast castle on, Spanish oftentimes are popular choices. This Ibex is doing some crazy stuff, man. I'd be so tilted if I'm BB here. My goodness. But so far, great management. Neither player with a lot of idle TC time. Now, these are competent players, and both in the 13 to 1400 range of elo, so better players than myself, to say the least. But still, it's not pro-level play, right? So idle TC times, the builds not being as clean is all stuff that we could expect. So far, after that warm-up game 1, they are looking pretty sharp. And yeah, Spanish, so that's what I was saying, right? They're typically popular on FC maps, and this is not really one of them, so I'll be interested in seeing how BB ends up playing this, what the strategy is. Now, as per the rules of the tournament, players elected to have the teams be allowed to communicate with each other during the games, or well, the teams to be allowed to communicate with their teammates is what I mean, not with the opponents. That's a bit weird. So basically what that means is that SaltedPepper is allowed to give input to BB here. Elhyar and PLP can talk to each other while this game is being played. So that maybe adds another interesting dynamic to it. We'll see what the approach will be. Spanish, no, they're not all conquistadors, right? They have a perfect blacksmith as well, as we see right there. They might not get the crossbowman upgrade, but they get all the archery upgrades from the blacksmith. So that's it. That's a thing. Also, regular cavalry, right? You can even go paladins with Spanish. So you have options, but really most well known for the gunpowder stuff. Although I'd be personally very happy if we got to see a missionary as well at some point. Okay, Now, that being said, let's also take a look at the Inca, because they are more in my wheelhouse, one of the civs that I personally like a lot. Still no real idle TC time for either player. So, respect to them there. Yeah, Inca. Arguably the best Meso civ right now in a vacuum. On most players' tier lists, they score pretty highly these days. What changed was really just that food discount that they got, and that's such a massive bonus, right? I mean, that applies to everything that they like to make, right? Everything except for archers, really. And archers are still a great option for the Incas. You have full blacksmith upgrades for archers, so perfect arbalests, pretty much. But, of course, you don't get a discount there, so it's not something that people opt into often. I personally always feel pretty good about playing archers with Incas if the matchup is good for it. Now the food discount, though, makes it really oppressive with the eagles, with trash units, that type of stuff, most importantly, right? And even the Kameyuks, even the unique unit from the castle, super strong. And speaking of the unique units, that's really where this civilization shines. They have this super unique slinger unit, which basically is, in my opinion, is just a hand cannoneer for Meso civs, which only the Incas get. Not probably going to be too important here, since I don't really expect BB to go heavily into infantry, but who knows? I don't want to spoil anybody, but we saw in the Clash of Empires tournament yesterday an amazing series where I believe the Spanish champions were actually made. So who knows if we're going to see infantry out of BB. And yeah, the other unique unit, the Kameyuk, as I already said, super strong. Good against almost anything, really, especially in Imp if you get fabric shields, man. Those units become so tenacious. Still also applies to Eagle Warriors, of course, and that is kind of the centerpiece unit to the Incas. Like, for all Meso civs, the Eagles are just extremely strong. The longer the game goes, the more oppressive they become, so wouldn't be surprised if that ended up being the main focus after all. We have a man-at-arms play coming out to start off the game for the Incas here. Remember, that is discounted militia here, at least in case he made them in feudal age, which I'm not sure if Elhyar actually did. I didn't track that. Man-at-arm upgrade comes in and they just burn through this palisade. I wonder why he stopped the attack. Ooh, well, BB was late to the reaction there. Okay, because now he's trying to get in from the north. Let's see. Okay, he's going to get in there as well. That was nicely done. The Eagle is able to keep this wall open. I was gonna say though, BB late with the repair. Maybe the man-at-arms could have broken in here, and that would have been a lot of damage for sure. No, he's going in on the woodline. He can't kill this palisade though. I'm pretty sure one villager can't repair as fast as 3 men-at-arms kill a wall. Oh man, BB going for the small walls here, having to keep herself alive. Let's see how well she's gonna be able to do this. This is a great house wall, but she might lose the wood if she's not careful there. That's a lot of stress to deal with this push. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing Elhyar actually take out this house, but of course it's a stressful situation. BB at this point with 30 seconds idle TC time, scrambling to defend here. So far hasn't really lost anything yet. No villagers. Might end up losing the house after all. That is good awareness. Nice work. Elhyar getting some value out of this push. Going to go around now. He's outside again, actually. Probably just wants to pull back for a second, as BB is opting into scouts for now. And we have more units come forward. Actually, Elhyar added an archery range behind this. I like to see it. Inca archers, let's go. Even has a bunch of spearmen out already. Wow, 3 spears already. This is good production. Is exactly what he needs in order to be able to do damage here. And this woodline is in some big trouble. Oh boy. When the archers come over here, this could end pretty badly for BB, who's again getting pushed on these palisades. Look at this one. It's gonna go down, isn't it? One guy repairing against triple men-at-arms. Is he actually doing it? It looks like he is. If forging was in, that would be a different story, I imagine. But wow, I didn't think they were able. Are Spanish villagers actually able to repair faster? I'm not sure if anybody in chat knows. But Spanish units build buildings faster. I'm not sure that also applies to repairing. But it very well might, looking at the way that BB was able to keep this palisade alive. Oh, I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a huge fan of this. Elhyar is attacking in the south now with the archers. I would have loved to see him keep the archers hidden and move them north to attack the villagers that are trapped in here that cannot escape. Instead, showing the archers here gives BB a lot of time to react there, possibly evacuate the northern wood line or add an archery range herself, and she's got the archery range up already, in fact. Now starts queuing up skirmishes, so not the perfect angle I thought to attack from with the archers here. Okay, well, BB so far only on defense, but Elhyar, having picked up a minute of idle TC time as well recently, makes the villager gap disappear. No eco kills yet, of course. And BB with the skirmish is able to defend. Nobody breaking into the base anymore for now. House wall is up again. Oh, it's open in the very north actually. I don't think either player has scouted this. Oh, actually, Elhyar almost knows about this. I don't think they've realized this. BB also isn't aware of this being open. Man, that is a big angle of attack, potentially. They are not going to find it right now. And they might have the map pressure right now, but you gotta remember as well, they're already down 1-0 in the series, and another loss would eliminate them from the tournament. So you don't want to misstep or lose your army here. I definitely get that the pressure is high. Blacksmith is coming up for the Spanish now too. Remember that they get 20 gold for every tech that they research. So actually, if BB ends up queuing up a few technologies here, she could even get that gold count up high enough to get to Castle Age without mining any more gold. Moves out with the scouts and skirms now. The army here is pretty potent. Doesn't really have anything that deals well with the man-at-arms, but the skirmishes, if he plays well enough from range, they might be able to get good results here. Look at this, the archers, they're being chipped away at. Fletching is in only for BB, not for Elhyar, who's chosen to instead click up to Castle Age. So I wonder what Elhyar's plan is. I assume they're going to go into infantry, right? Yeah, scale mail armor's coming out, because if they were going to go into crossbows in Castle Age, they would have made more archers, they would have already gotten fletching, and they would try to keep this army alive. Right now it seems like Elhyar is mainly just trying to buy time with this, which, well, they're going to be able to do. 40 seconds away from Castle Age. Is this an overchop? It is. Oh no. Ah, no. There's spearmen there, so it's fine. Nice reaction on the walls. Okay. We're sharp out here. That was a good palisade in the last second. And the walls are almost complete for Elhyar as well. I like the wood lines here. They are quite wallable, but you've got to go do your due diligence, which BB is now doing. Great reaction, realizing that this was open still. And that's Castle Age in for Elhyar. Now, a bit scary for BB, who's yet able to click up. Actually, yeah, 5 on stone. Already gathering a lot of that. We'll use the market a bit in order to be able to click up herself. And with the scouts down here, gotta pay attention. Don't want to take too much free damage from the spears unless you're able to trade back for some villager kills. That being said, the KD overall 4-1 in favor of BB. Cleaning up these archers here again with these skirmishes. That is good. Good value, resource-wise. And no villagers have gone down for her. And she's also on the way to Castle Age. So if she's able to survive this, who knows? Elhyar actually cancelled the upgrade. I think what... Oh no, never mind. It was the Eagle Warrior upgrade. I thought I saw a Longswordsman upgrade, but no, it was the Eagle Warrior upgrade, of course, and that did complete. So now we're gonna get 2 barracks Eagle production, 3 barracks Eagle production even, and BB good choice to house wall behind this. So the infantry is going to be strong there for the Inca. Oh, villager lead is about 5 for BB right now. It's gonna go shrink a little bit while she's advancing to the next age. I'm expecting a castle as soon as she's up, probably at the front of her base, allowing her to play for the middle and secure the entrance to her base. This is fun. This is funny. Had the gate there, but dropped some houses behind. Didn't trust the palisade wall. Wisely so. And to the Eagles. Trying to get in. BB, being disciplined, just puts up the stone walls behind this. It should be fine. She should be able to get to Castle Age just okay. Idle TC time for Elhyar now a bit higher. I love the way that BB has been able to keep her composure. She's actually, yeah, just had less idle time despite being the one on defense. And now drops the castle right here at the front of the base. It's an okay position for sure. And maybe with conks, the tides of this game can change for the first time in the military department. Eco-wise, I've already said it, but BB's in a really good spot. Grabbing some extra eco upgrades now, which, remember, also give 20 gold each. There's a bunch of eagles out on the map at this point for Elhyar. Question is, what are they going to do once conks appear? Eagles don't deal that well with conks, especially not in this age. Especially not in Castle Age. I don't like this matchup. So you'd need some skirmishes if you're the Incas there, preferably. I think that would be the best unit against Conquistadors. Could do monks, but nah. Really, skirmishes is what you'd want to go to. First Conquistador is out, and he's trapped. Well, he's not actually trapped, but can't get out of the base for now. Won't have to either. Just gonna be able to snipe away at some of these besieging Eagle Warriors. BB now gotta make sure not to get broken into here anyway. Sure, she's got a few Conquistadors now, so even if the Eagles get in, she should be able to clean this up, but you'd ideally want to keep the opponent out for sure. What is the reaction going to be for Elhyar? Well, there's no second TC yet for the Inca. Arson was being researched, and now it was cancelled, I think. Fletching is going to come in, so I assume they're going to go for skirmishes after all. So they are in from the east now. And it's stressful dealing with attacks from all of these angles. Loses a village as a result. So the numbers are back to even. Also back up though, so the Eagles aren't gonna get anything more from that angle. And so far, BB holding firm, not losing anything really. Elhyar apparently working on the relics right now with minimal investment. Is actually going for crossbowmen. That's interesting. I really would have expected skirmishes here. Not only because the Incans have a discount for skirms as opposed to crossbows, but also simply for the reason that it's more cost efficient, isn't it, to go skirms against conks as opposed to crossbowmen. Now, crossbowmen are a lot better against a lot of different stuff, but I think really only skirmishes is what only Conquistadors is what you've got a problem with right now. Both players actually moving out into the middle at pretty much the same time to get their TCs down there. Still a super even game, and that's great. Anyone's to take. A bunch of Eagles are getting into BB's main base, but she's doing such a good job with these small walls, always in time. Great awareness there. Execution clean enough to defend for now, but that is a bunch of Eagles here. They're not amazingly well upgraded, and running underneath the castle certainly isn't a sustainable way of raiding. But they are getting a few picks here. This is certainly annoying to the Spanish. We're now forced off of this woodline again. I don't think any villages are going to go down here actually though. And look at the amount of Conquistadors. At this point, BB has a massively strong army on the field, and I'd like to see her go out to raid soon. She's got the scouts down here in the corner. Not sure if she remembers about this, but this is still open. TC being dropped here now. Oh boy, if the Kongs came forward now, that could be a massive issue. Both players again dropping those TCs at the same time though. So we're gonna keep seeing a neck and neck boom with some raiding going on both sides. These men-at-arms looking for their eagle brothers that went lost a couple of minutes ago. They're gonna meet the same fate. Such a massive amount of Conquistadors. Elhyar's answer seems to be full crossbows here. Ballistics coming in, that's extremely important. You can't really play archers against cavalry without ballistics. You're just not gonna hit any shots. So a good tech to pick up here. Still gonna be an uphill battle, not only geographically though, because the Spanish army at this point is extremely big. Look at the resource value in terms of their armies. The military value almost double for BB at this point. 4 TC coming down in the middle. I'm not sure you need this many TCs. I wouldn't mind a castle in the middle as well eventually. Working towards that could be decent. Personally, I think I'm content with 3 challengers in this game, but not a bad choice to add a fourth one, I don't think, either. Elhyar heavily on stone now. They are definitely looking to drop another castle. And for the Incas, their castles are cheaper. And that's a scout raid coming in again. Remember, we saw those scouts earlier and it's still not walled here, so they're gonna get another villager pick or two. BB keeping Elhyar honest. Also raiding back a little bit. Getting some nice extra value out of these scouts. And going to take out a crossbowman too. Okay, it's 20 crossbows against 12 conquistadors as of now. Armor upgrades coming in. Those apply to the conquistadors. You see right here, the armor is 2 and 1 right now. And the upgrade comes in. Conks will be affected. +1, +1. They're not affected by fletching, so the range and the damage stays the same. But interestingly, the armor class is the same. Okay, if this raid ever gets into Elhyar's base, that is massive trouble. Especially if the crossbowmen aren't in the exact right spot. And the crossbowmen, in fact, are forward right now. Castle being dropped there on the very middle by the Incas. And a lot of food as well, so it seems to me like Elhyar is thinking about going up to Imperial Age very soon. Whereas for BB, she's got a mangonel going right now. She knows about this crossbow switch. And that seems to be her answer to that. Oh, in come the conquistadors. It's open actually. So they could, if BB clicked in here. Oh, there's a hole there! Oh boy! God damn it. There probably was the 2-tile gold right there or something. And that has been mined. But BB pulls right out after finding out about this castle, I assume. Both players actually pulling back, not liking what they're seeing. For Elhyar, what is the game plan? Are they actually going to force Imperial Age here and try to push with this forward castle? Or what is the agenda? A lot of forward buildings here, but no more army being produced, so it seems to me like Imp might be on the menu. But now we see a few Kamayuks coming out of the castle. So selling a lot of stone. And going up to Imp 3 minutes away. BB also did an amazing job getting close to clicking up herself. And has the eco lead. Also has one castle. So even has the one on the hill, right? I like the Spanish position here. Now, I'm not sure. Inca are super scary, even in late game. The food discount is the strongest in Imp. At least it's the biggest. I'm not sure if it's actually as impactful in Imp anymore. But it is relevant for sure. You get fabric shields there as well, which does hurt. But how are you gonna combat all the gunpowder? That's always an issue for the metal sips. Now you see here the conquistadors, they have pierce damage. Their attack class is classified as pierce. So fabric shields are relatively effective against that if you want to use Kamayuks, slingers even, or slingers aren't going to be good. I can't see it work out. But yeah, I wonder what the army comp will be for the Inca. They're gonna be half a minute ahead to Imp and trying for a second castle right now to siege with. BB also wisely putting up a second one herself though, down here in the pit. That's buying her some extra space. Interesting switch into light cavalry now. I wonder what that is against. Maybe she's expecting a skirmisher switch from the Inca, which is what I would have suggested against the conquistadors. And against those skirms, the light cav would be optimal. But of course we know that there's not any skirms coming out currently. So that it's full crossbows, Thumbring as well on the way. Stone walls behind this by Elhyar, probably good choice. He hasn't scouted the side of the map yet. Man. And this is BB finding a great raiding window at the early start of Imp that will slow down Elhyar a bit. If only she clicked in here. Man, that would be so devastating. I can't believe neither side has found this entrance. And for BB, it looks so tempting. It looks like you should at least check here. For Elhyar, same thing. Like I wonder how he's so confident about this. But it's easier to say right? When you're watching from the spectator point of view, obviously. So it's not meant to be harsh criticism. We've all been there. Scale barding coming in. No, actually, sorry. Plate barding coming in for BB. Arbalest upgrade on the way for the Inca. That's a big, massive crossbows. They're certainly scary. I mean, they're shredding these light cavalry right now, despite the good armor upgrades that they already have. With the Kameyuk in front, this light cav certainly is not getting any value right now. It's not like Elhyar was making a lot of skirmishes or monks, really, which is the only things that I would really like the light cav against. Now, how's this trebuchet war going to go? BB with 2 trebs out herself. It's 3 right now for Elhyar. The repairs are coming in from the Spanish in full force. And actually, what is this? Well, this is... the audacity on these villages is pretty crazy. My goodness. That's the forward stone mining wills. Imagine if she attacked the traps with those wills, the Spanish wills. Get supremacy, rush down the traps. Well, a castle is gone down though. That's the early in time paying off for the Inca. More trebuchets there, but these are going to be tough to take out. They're on the hill with the bonus. There's a lot of trebuchets there. So one castle has already been traded back. Main army engagement over here in the west. Let's focus on that though. There's a lot of units going down both sides. The Arbalests are shredding the Conquistadors, so I think all the Conks will go down. But so might all of the Arbalests, honestly. Because look at the amount of light cavalry that BB with 50 farms is able to shit out here. My goodness. It's gonna be both sides losing all of the gold units right now. And I think BB is way happier with that than Elhyar. Isn't she? I mean, really. Conquistadors, they're effective even if you don't have a massive ball. The Arbalests, losing so many of them is way more problematic. And look at the castle situation too. It looks like BB, with the time that she's bought with the battle in the west, she's even gonna win this trebuchet war. Oh man, she's definitely in the lead right now, considering everything. The castle situation, the eco situation, and the army situation. It's looking great for the Spanish right about here. And remember, we're on match point already. If she wins this game, it's on to the finals for the Aussies here. Are they going to be able to finish this one off? It looks really good. Look at the amount of villages that are just being targeted here in the middle. Oh boy, Elhyar. What do you have left for here? Look at the amount of villages there. Oh god. They can't go down. They just can't die right here. That would be certainly game ending. Arbalest able to beat back the mangoes at least. More eco upgrades on the way for BB. The army and the eco lead. Pretty oppressive at this point, and a castle going up in the west too. Great job, I love to see this. This is way underutilized even by pro players. Putting up walls in the late game slowly but surely as you're pushing out. Just to make it impossible for the opponent to raid back at all. That's really nice awareness by her. Interesting play. We see Elhyar now switching more into infantry again. At least those halberdiers going to be necessary to deal with all of that light cav spam. Some more armor upgrades coming out as well. Elhyar had fully tacked into Arbalests. Bracer, Arbalest upgrade. All that was quite expensive. So the infantry upgrades aren't quite there just yet. That being said though, halberdiers doing well against the light cav for sure. But that is a good answer. But then again, with BB having a few conquistadors behind, the halberdiers will get shredded. So you wonder if that's going to be enough. Relic, only one has been picked up by Elhyar, so it's not like there's a huge eco boost coming from there. Was able to take out one of the TCs from BB with the one trebuchet here. That's good value. Still pushing forward with the halberdiers. They're killing a lot of units as well. Look at them. 15 kills on these 10 helps. But not real eco damage being done. BB continues walling up. That's amazing. I like that. Give up a bit of map pressure, sure, but make sure to wall up completely at home and then push out with the strong army that you have. I think that's good. Right now the army numbers are a bit problematic. Elhyar has spammed a lot of military, so BB should probably wait for a few more reinforcements to come in as well. Yeah, we have Hussar upgrade completing. This is strong light cavalry right now. But with another ball of Arbalests and helps in front, Elhyar's army is now also difficult to take out. One trebuchet remaining for the Inca, another one on the way. Wonder where they're going to look to push next. They know about this castle in the west, so that could be a good target. Also the TC in the east quite unprotected and seems to be about to be raided by these Arbalests. There's a lot of villagers there. Some might die. Oh, amazingly none go down. So the TC is fine for now. The main push is going to be in the west against this castle. BB, 144 villagers. I feel like that's enough at this point. Go get some military out on the map. Source diving in here, just buying time. They're not taking a good trade, I don't think, but actually hold that thought. They're getting quite a few Arbalest kills here. That's with only food units. So I like this a lot from BB. Never mind. She just has the numbers, and she has the eco to replace the army as well. If she loses 20 hussars here, that's not a problem. Man, that was a great trade. All the Arbalests are down again. And Elhyar, though these are expensive trades to take, sure. Still controls the gold in the middle and has taken out the castle in the west, which is good. But at this point, I wonder if trading so many Arbalests for a castle or whatnot is actually worth it. I don't think that is realistic. I don't think this castle is actually going to go up. BB has so much army here. Let's see if she can stop this from happening. A very aggressive forward castle coming out. But the range, the elite skirms here, they're so strong. They're great against everything Elhyar has. I don't think this castle is actually realistic. Well, it might go up, but Elhyar is going to lose a ton if they're trying to force this one. And the trebuchets, they're just running into their demise too, aren't they? Oh, it's only halberdiers. They're well equipped to deal with this. The army should completely shred for BB here. And look at the trebs, they're just completely out of position right now. Well, it seems the castle is enough for Elhyar to get a foothold here. So good job establishing this little beachhead on the hill. I didn't think this was going to go that well, but really nicely done by Elhyar. Man, BB could have done a lot of damage here. Maybe if she sniped the traps, but it's hard to say. It was a stressful situation for sure. Traps now firing away at the castle, but they're actually firing from downhill. So despite the castle being up there, the traps don't do full damage to this castle. This is a big push from Elhyar. If BB is able to stop this, I think her situation is great. But if Elhyar is able to get in here and raid the eco, it could go downhill fast for BB. So high stakes. Both players fully boomed up at this point, and castle in BB's base, it's going to go down, and that is the last castle she has. That's no more conquistadors. So that's going to be an issue. The traps were not able to be sniped, and Elhyar is slowly but surely pushing forward. Really nicely done here. Can't believe this has worked so well. But then again, BB is doing an amazing job also, spreading out her eco more. Now she is extremely raidable over here, but Elhyar doesn't know this. And even if Incan send some units over there to deal with that, that would relieve some pressure from the home front there by BB, so I like that play. Is she gonna be able to push this castle back into the pit? She's got one trebuchet firing away, but that's all she needs right now, because the castle isn't being repaired. Finally the repair wheels come forward, and Elhyar refocusing the trebuchets likely on the one from BB that's firing away. She tries to go in with some hussars to deny the repairs, but the halberdiers are in position. And still some arbalests right here to pump out DPS as well. I just don't like the army composition for Elhyar. You can't face full trash with help arbalests. It's just, the skirms for BB should just shred everything here, shouldn't they? The castle is fully repaired up. The trebuchet from BB, is it gonna go down? She's also repairing it, but it's taking shots from 3 enemy trebuchets. Surely it's going down, and it is actually destroyed in the end here. But BB also doing a good job raiding on the other side. Both players are losing quite a lot of villages at this point. And Elhyar slowly, it feels like slowly running out of gold here. Is this the last gold they control? If it is, that might be a problem, because this army composition is super expensive right now. And the raiding, it's not as devastating yet. Neither player has killed more than 20 wills with this push. So while it is massively inconvenient, no disaster has happened yet for either side. Elhyar desperately tries to get back on gold, on more gold, but BB already controlling this area here in the west. This could end terrible for Elhyar. Oh, there's probably going to go a lot of villagers right into their death. Oh no. Oh no. Elhyar hasn't noticed, I don't think. And the castle is going to be taken out as well. Good switch on the gunpowder for BB. As mentioned this, the Spanish strength, it's coming in clutch right here. And I think the castle is going to go down. Elhyar is losing the grip of this game. And the rating, it's not there really. It's not there. The castle is going to fall as the bombard cannons aren't able to be sniped. Or are they? Oh, it's so close. One went down through the trebuchet. The castle is being repaired, but the stone is going to run out. But there is the last shot. So a couple of seconds to recover here as another 2 bombard cannons are coming in. BB is still denying the TC in the west, or is she? It seems like it's going to go up after all, but the castle is going to fall. These 2 bombard cannons, they're going to take it. The trebuchets aren't focusing on them right now. So the castle is gone, isn't it? Oh, the repairs. It's so stressful. What is going on here? I can't believe this is happening. Is this gonna stay up? There's no way it is, right? Cavalier at this point for BB. Now she's going to go more into gold units as well, apparently. This is the last gold for Elhyar, though. She's able to push the Inca off of that. I feel like that could almost seal the game. Great job again, killing the bombard cannons. The castle stayed up. The TC is actually going down first. There's no chance Elhyar gets away with this, right? I mean, how long can this push continue? Getting raided at home a bit now as well. Well, the stone walls are still up, so it's not completely open yet. But in the west, there could be a lot of damage done there. Same thing though in BB's base. The eagles are in there as well. It's a mess on both sides, as both players are losing a lot of villagers here. Oh, can BB stabilize the situation again? There's so much infantry in her base right here. Luckily, she's got a lot of eco sideways as well. But Elhyar is doing an amazing job spreading out the units raid with. This is a huge problem though. I mean, look at this gold income. This is 45 gold miners not being able to work all at the same time. What is going on, guys? Like, look at the minimap. What is this? Man. I gotta say as well, I love the way BB expanded. That is completely true. But finally, Elhyar has kind of been able to break in. And he's raiding a lot. Eco down to 80 for BB. She's kind of fallen apart at this point. Had she won this castle trebuchet war, I feel like she could have closed this game. And it was so close to going down on 2 occasions. It was close to even being denied in the first place. But Elhyar, against all odds, was actually able to make this push happen. And look at the villager numbers now. BB is down to 60. This should be the game, shouldn't it? I mean, honestly, what does she have at this point? She's almost out of rest, right? She's got a couple of wood stacks right lying around there, but that's not gonna do it, isn't it? Is it? Ah, her army almost non-existent too. That gotta feel rough, man. It felt like she had it in the bag, but she's forced to concede at this point. Elhyar, with sheer willpower, forces this one down. It looked like Elhyar was gonna lose up until they won. What a crazy game. I love the Incas though. I mean, as I said, Inca, it's really tough to handle. And once the infantry gets into the eco, you're just not able to get it out of there. Crazy, man. Oof. A Christmas tree minimap, that's completely true. Oh boy. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing, serious guys. We're getting a decider game 3. And it's gonna be the beast players who decide which team will end up winning and move into the finals. These are 2 very closely matched teams, so it's not a shock that it's going this far. Now give me a second while I switch into the next game. I actually try to pull up the draft again for the next game. This is the draft from the previous one. Okay. This should be the maps. And this should be the civs. Yep, okay. What a crazy game. I can't believe it. Well done, both players. And here's the map draft for the third one. Again, same rules. It's a 1v1. There's 3 possible maps in the pool. And if both players select the same map, that map will be played. If both players select a different map, the third leftover map will be played. And in this case, PLP selected Arabia. SaltedPepper went for Lowland. Well, they actually went for a random roll, and it ended up on Lowland. Maybe Lowland is just preferred by the random option, who knows. Either way, that means the leftover map enclosed is going to be the one for game 3, for the decider here. Let's check out the Civ draft, what they ended up going with. Chinese, Inca, those are some civs that are typically popular on enclosed. And neither of those was actually picked or banned here. And we see Cumans and Portuguese, the 2 bans. And these 2 players are quite high elo, right? They're both right around 2200. So it's a worthy decider here. Should be closely matched. And after the bans and the snipes and everything, PLP has the option to go into this game with Saracens or Teutons. SaltedPepper could choose the Britons or the Mongols. Cool. Well, I love the archer civs there for SaltedPepper. Those are more of my kinda cloth. But PLP with some interesting civs as well that I don't see too often on this map, so I wonder which one he's actually going to choose going into the game. And I say let's just jump in, right? Let's just check out how this game went. Now the thing is, actually, yeah, I'll just open it up there. Aussies versus Baguettes Game 3 is the title. It's super bugged for me, but I guess it doesn't matter because capture rate is working. Well, I don't know. I'll just roll with it. My replay stuff is a bit dead, but it's fine. We'll just go right in here and find out which team moves to the finals against Daniel and Huni. There we are. Okay, nice stuff, guys. We have for game 3, oops, it's 1-1 right now. SaltedPepper's team winning the first one, PLP winning the second one. Actually, while we're at it, let's just real quick edit the team names again, just to have it be consistent. It's PLP and Elhyar. No, Elhyar. Oh boy, I want to look this up. Would be bad to misspell here. Elhyar it is. Okay, I had it right the first time. My apologies. Okay, just to be consistent, we got the team names up there again. Decide a game. Winner moves to the finals where they'll play for 100 euros against the #1 seed. Tricky, actually. I'll add the seeds in here as well. It's the third against the second seed. 2 very competent players, 2200-ish elo. And we have the Mongols on the left side for SaltedPepper. That's just what I like to see. It's my favorite civ. We've got the cool emotes on this channel. Well, I think they're follow emotes, so everybody should be able to use them. Got some Mangadai emotes, and then we've got the nice race car onager. So I can prove that this indeed is the civ I'm most passionate about. Why is that? Well, because they've got some of the coolest units in the game. They've got not only the drill siege units, which are so fun to control, but they've got step brothers as well. Extremely tanky ones, and that the best in the game, I would wager. And then, I mean, who doesn't love playing with Mangadai? It's so fun. It's such a great civ. And then the main reason they're so oppressive in the early game as well is that amazing hunt bonus. They're just able to get to the highest food income in the early game of any civilization if you're able to get some deer, some boars in. And that's exactly what SaltedPepper is working on right here, making sure to get deers in, get an amazing early game eco. And you can see how they haven't even started taking the buffalo yet. because they want to utilize the hunt bonus to the max, taking the rhinos and the deer first. No gambles there. Don't want to get lamed or anything. So SaltedPepper working on that. With the Mongols, you're also quite flexible, right? Because the Mangudai are amazing, but you also have amazing Hussars with the extra HP or Step Lancers too. So you can go cavalry, you can also go archer units as well, right? So I love the Mongols for that. The mid game can sometimes be a bit tricky, but man, that early game, that early feudal age is brutal, and the late game, please let us see some drill siege here, guys, please. It's the coolest unit in the game. On the other side, it's the Teutons for Elhyar. And actually, as I found out, that's my mother's favorite civ, so it's mine against my mother's. Who knew? Shout out to my mom if she's watching this. Well, the Teutons, they're cool. I wouldn't deny it. I think infantry civs, especially the old ones, they have something special and nostalgic about them. I don't know, they just feel a bit weird. One thing I don't like about the Teutons conceptually is, as you can see right here, they have 1,000,000 bonuses. Like, my favorite example of a nicely designed civ is the Malians that we saw in game 1. Right? They have like 4 civ bonuses. They're all very distinct, very impactful, easy to remember. Just a strong bonus that's easy to explain and that has a value, which has a value that's very easy to gauge. For the Teutons, it's the exact opposite. They just got 1,000,000 of small bonuses that most of them don't even matter in every game. So I don't really like that from a civ design standpoint, right? Like, for example, that murder whole herbal medicine. It's a cool bonus to have sometimes. Most of the time, you're not gonna feel it though. Right? The extra garrison in the TC can be really good in some spots, but it's not like I love situational game design, right? Where it's strong in specific situations, but only if those situations are able to be reached by the players if they play around it well. Now, you tell me how you play around your extra TC garrison bonus. Like, am I supposed to get raided on purpose just to be able to garrison my villages in the TC? I'm not sure about it. So I'm just saying, design-wise, I wasn't ever the hugest fan of the Teutons. Conceptually, though, the cheaper farms, infantry, and strong armor on their stable and barracks units is cool. It is definitely, like, civ has its strengths, no denying that. So if I'm the Mongols, I might look to play more around my Mangudai here, because that extra armor the Teutons get doesn't apply to pierce damage. That could be a good approach. We have the Mongols with the 17 villager up, of course, courtesy of their amazing hunt bonus, and they're gonna go for a stable opening here. No big surprises, of course. And SaltedPepper actually already looking to get some wars up here on the side. Both players with just that 1 second of idle TC time. I told you, this is competent level of play here. Level of play that you're not used to from my stream. So, a breath of fresh air maybe. And if you check out the scouting real quick, I didn't see this, but SP has actually completed an entire tour around the map already, so knows exactly where the opponent is. And gonna go forward with the scouts now as the first ones start coming out of the stable. Spearman production by both players kicked off as well. The Teutons just late on that because, of course, they weren't able to get up to feudal age that quickly. No early game eco bonus there to carry them. Ooh, this is gonna be open soon, isn't it? 40 fruit left on that fruit bush. And, well, spearman on spearman for now. Neither side with any blacksmith upgrades yet. Well, of course, no blacksmiths yet, so that's not a huge surprise, but neither side gets a bonus there or anything. So the units are pretty much exactly the same strength. Also, the HP bonus for the Mongol Light Cav doesn't kick in until Castle Age when you get the Light Cav upgrade. It doesn't apply to scouts, like the Franks bonus, for example. Okay, well, it's a classic Spearman Scout opening on both sides, but we have the archer range behind for Elhyar, already making some skirmishes. Interestingly, now the archer range is gonna come out for BB as well, or for SaltedPepper, excuse me. We'll see where they'll try to go with this. Actually, let me quickly get this. Yeah, they had scouted the archery range, so that's why they're going for their own one right behind. Horse color completes for the Teutons. That's a very efficient farming eco that they'll be able to put up there with their bonus, of course. And so, well, idle TC time at 30 seconds for PLP. Maybe a bit stressed with the raiding and everything going on. So that's a 1 villager lead for SaltedPepper there. Nothing game changing, but a good start for the Mongols for sure. Scouts haven't taken out a skirmisher here as well. No huge gains or losses on either side so far. The eco quite undisturbed for the Mongols. They have a fully intact wall down south, so really they only got to guard this road entrance. Whereas for PLP, there's no real walls right there, just the ones protecting the inside TC, of course. So I'd say PLP is a bit more raidable, despite the walls around the berries. That's very raidable by archers, for example. Okay, well, there's a lot of army on both sides here, 9 against 10, and it's quite diverse, right? You have skirms, you have spears and scouts alive, but there's only one scout remaining actually for Elhyar, who didn't end up making a stable. So, really just mainly going for the skirms here behind these spearmen, which, I mean, skirms and spears good enough to deal with scouts and archers, right? So, possibly this works out. If SaltedPepper went for more skirmishes themselves, then some scouts could be necessary for the Teutons, but as things stand, the armies are just equipped well enough to handle each other relatively fine. Neither side going to clean this up or anything. A lot of farms being set up by the Teutons here. That is their strength, right? I mean, cheap as hell, with horse collar already having come in. There's no issue, just drop those like crazy. On the other side, it's quite a few less for the Mongols, but also with horse collar in already. So that's okay. Market there as well. All of the stone, excuse me, having been sold. A tower on the gold and the berries for the Teutons. That's going to be really good for SaltedPepper, having been able to force that. And that's going to be a villager going down. That's the first will kill of the game as the tower completes. Now remember, free murder holes for the Teutons have free murder holes. Oh, you only get that in Castle Age, I guess, right? Yeah, of course. You only get that in Castle Age because you can't research it before then. So the tower isn't as OP yet. Interesting. I never was in the situation where a tower dove a Teuton's tower in Feudal Age, but yeah, of course, the bonus doesn't apply just yet. SaltedPepper, having sold all of that stone in order to get up to Castle Age first, is going to have an amazing Castle Age time. Now, though, has to deal with a lot of army in the base currently, and that's full trash, which in this case isn't trash at all, because it does counter the Mongol army really nicely. And I wonder what the approach is going to be. Are we just going to see like Step Lancer play? We have double archery range, so I wonder what the army comp is going to be for SaltedPepper. They're not working towards a castle. And it does. Oh well, there's the stable behind. Okay, so we might just see Step Lancer, we might see Knights. It's who knows, right? We might see Light Cav too at this rate. Blacksmith now being put up too. That'll work. But the eco is really in a rough shape. A lot of idle workers. You see the worker efficiency since this raid has started is down to just about 40%. That sucks. Good pressure being put here by PLP with the Teutons, but it has to be mentioned, still quite far away from getting to Castle Age. Double archery range. Now it's 3 ranges in total. Wow. That is surprising to me. I didn't expect them to lean so heavily into archers, of all things. Teutons, good cavalry, good infantry, but they go in archers instead. Castle Age is in for SaltedPepper, and that's gotta be super scary for Elhyar. Only a 2 villager lead as well. The idle time getting higher. Oh, sorry, Elhyar for PLP. I'm still getting confused by the team names that I selected myself, so... Oh, I made the bet, now I gotta lay in it. That said, it looks like the army is gonna be cleaned up in the end. PLP, quite a bit behind here. 2 minutes away from Castle Age. Gonna be behind in Villagers too once they get there. And no army pretty much left on the field at all is going into archers now. That is so... Well, the army comes from both players are pretty surprising here, but I don't mind cavalry archers for the Mongols. I didn't touch on it, but they have faster fire rate on those, so the DPS is crazy. Step Lancer forward, but only one. Not a lot of raiding potential there. You can't really get into the main eco, can ya? Hey, man. PLP behind 600 in the score. It's gonna get a little better once they reach Castle Age. But this is a scary situation to be in against the Mongols. And the good news, I guess, for the Teutons is there's no extra TCs, there's no castle drop coming out by the Mongols, so you're not getting outboomed and you're not getting pushed away with the castle. You're just gonna get pressured by a big army. Well, the army isn't huge per se, but it is strong. A lot of DPS on these cav archers, if they ever hit a shot, I guess, right? You kinda need thumb ring to make those work. Regardless, the house wall here, much needed. Can't allow the opponent to get in. And PLP gotta survive a bit here. Got to just live as Castle Age is reached. What is the play going to be? Are we going to try for a second TC to get some more eco space? Are we trying to are we going to try to work towards a castle? That's going to be difficult because the stone is much out of range. It's going to be the Botkin crossbow upgrade now for the archers that were prepared with the triple range. But look at how the archers are being torn apart before the upgrades are coming in. This is horrible for PLP, losing so many units before the upgrades even complete. Now, at this point, you're pretty happy being able to garrison so many units inside your towers as the Teutons. I memed the bonus earlier. Now, well, it comes into play, actually. Elhyar is in a rough spot, but at least there's some crossbows now that were upgraded. And those are also not the easiest to handle for the Mongols. Good Scorpion addition here, doing a lot of damage. And the Scorpion is quite tanky against pierce damage. Crossbows end up taking it out, going more forward, and it is indeed a second TC behind this for PLP. Match point for both players. Remember, the decider, great split here, good reaction on the Mangonel popping out of there. All the crossbows stay alive for now. Elimination game. It's pretty close, but a 10 villager lead at this point for the Mongols. Also with the more expensive army in the field. Oh boy. That 10 villager lead is surprising to me. Where is that from? It's because the wheelbarrow is in already for the Teutons and because of a little bit higher idle TC time. That being said, it's 2 TCs completed for the Teutons. Mongols still putting their second one up and still lacking wheelbarrow. So the villager gap should close eventually. At least it should get a little bit tighter. And with this amount of farms that the Teutons already had put up, wheelbarrow is a good investment for sure. The ecos are pretty good on both sides. I can't lie. They're actually comparable. And maybe in the very late game, that's an angle that the Teutons could take. Cheaper farms, and they have all the eco upgrades, whereas the Mongols don't get crop rotation or two-man saw. So maybe the super late game eco could make the difference for the Teutons, but are they going to get there is the question. Mongol army, man, it's so scary. They have so many options that are above par, above average. 30C going up for Pepper. Might lose a villager or two here, but with the Mangonels should be able to guard them. So these crossbowmen, they're in a tricky spot here. We gotta get some value out of those. That's the first Mangonel shot hitting quite well. Second one being avoided. And there's no ballistics on these suckers. So they're having a hard time against these cavalry archers. Same thing though for SaltedPepper. No ballistics. I don't even think Thumb Ring is in yet. So the accuracy on those cav archers isn't the best. Now, how is this gonna go against the Mongols? This could be painful. Good shots. Good shots by SaltedPepper to open this up, and I think all of these crossbows are gonna go down eventually. Still does his best to get some return damage in on the cavalry archers. But look at this, they're all going down, they're all about to fall. And well, at least PLP already has a new army prepared in the back. This time around with some siege alongside it. Mangonel has come out and another TC further north. But a fourth one coming out for SaltedPepper here. If I remember correctly, this map was played in the first series of BB and SP as well. I think BB played on this map in her 1v1. It might even have been the deciding game of the series, honestly. But, there was a million TCs in that game as well, if I remember. I think Britain's was played there. Either way, it's a map that we've seen before. A double mango, 20 crossbows. The army isn't bad for Elhyar, or for PLP, or Team Baguettes. But the issue for them is just that SaltedPepper barely lost anything during the previous turn. It still has the Cav Archer ball with the Mangonels. And that should be everything they need to defend against the crossbow mango, depending on who has better micro, who fights it better. TC is it gonna go up here? Oh, come on, that's so annoying. That's so annoying. TC denied at 94% for now. Gonna get some villager kills here, that's much needed for PLP. Now taking the villager lead for the first time in a while. Lose these guys, but hey, that was nicely executed and delays the fourth TC from going up as well. It is a close game, guys. Both players with very comparable army comps. Mongol Cav Archers are gonna be quite a lot stronger than regular crossbowmen, though, aren't they? The mobility and the DPS should just be better on the Cav Archers. Look at the army value; it's also much higher on the Mongol side. These guys aren't gonna get out of. Oh, come on! That's just bullying. And now they're gonna bring the. Oh, what? Why did they delete the walls? Were they destroyed? I don't think so. Well, the Mangonel. I would have loved to see him gun those those crossbows down in the corner. Sadly, we're not gonna get to see that, but they're gonna fall in the end to the double Mangonel. Now maybe PLP can use this time where the Mangonels were used in the north to make a push happen in the south. But we see SaltedPepper wisely just fall back, allow PLP to step up a bit and give up some space, but will bring the Mangoes back to defend here, so there's not going to be any issues there. Castles are going to be the next objective here, I feel like. 530 stone already. SP is going to put one up soon. I imagine it's going to be right here, if he's able to. If not, maybe back here is an option as well. In the north, I wouldn't really imagine there. He could put one in the middle as well if he wanted to, just to idle this wood line a bit. I mean, I always like to do that, but it's probably not the strategically best decision here. Mango shot. Good avoidance here by PLP. But as the mango trades continue, shots are of high importance. SP looking for a good castle spot. Elhyar still gathering the stone, but as long as SP isn't building his, it's gonna be fine for the Teutons. Couple of raiding Cav Archers coming into the north, finding that TC there. Both players on those 4 TCs and the castle very safely at home. SP might even try to hide this castle to get a secret Mangadai production going. Well, I don't know if that's necessary. It might just be a protective castle for the eco. Good shot as the Mangonels are being traded back and forth. Oh, the crossbows, they gotta be careful, man. These mangoes, they are scary. Are we gonna see some Mangadai here in a second? That's what we have the emotes for, don't we? I hope they're follow emotes. Still, I keep forgetting to check that, but they should be. Triple Mangonel. It's actually 5 Mangonels in total for the Mongols. What's up? This is so difficult to play. Look at this. Oh, first Mango goes down here. It's so hard to micro against all of these Mangonels. It was still a great trade by PLP, just trading 1 for 1 in the face of this threat. Thumbring is in now for the Cav Archers, so they're going to have a better time trading with these crossbowmen. Oh no, PLP is losing the entire army here as both players on 100 wills. Castles going up on both sides. Ballistics on the way too for SP. These mounted archers, man, they're going to take over in a second. With ballistics, they're just going to shred anything. Anything. Castle is so important here. As long as this up, at least SP won't be able to get in. Second castle now. Actually in the north, I wouldn't have expected it there. I just always want to see castles in the middle here because it's so funny to me. Barracks goes down, and I guess that is an issue, right? This eco is raidable if the house wall is being broken. That seems to be happening here in a second. Oh, nope. No! No! These guys don't have drill. They can't walk through castles. Well, pressure is still high for SP. Poor Mangonel here, taking 3 damage. But overall, it's still a great approach. Still raiding in the north with just a handful. And pushing from 2 angles in the south. This is gonna be tough to stop. Only crossbowmen for the Teutons. And still, I don't know why we've seen full crossbow play. Like PLP, but maybe it's just the best units the Teutons have against Cav archers. I'm not sure, really. And the series could end right here. If PLP collapses under this pressure, which is massive. Cav archers raiding everywhere. Good shot on the Mangonel here. Oh, nice dodges. SP in the end. Pulls out of there. Is in now. Has taken out all of these crossbows. And the Mangonels are falling too. This could be the game, guys. As SP has taken the entire army. PLP is on the ground right now. Is the knockout punch gonna follow? Stables have been put up, but that seems to be a bit late of a cavalry switch. Both players are on the way to him. PLP is going to get there first, but how much of his eco is going to be intact once he advances? I'm not too sure about this. It looks like finally a good trade on the Mangonel in the base. Keeps the villagers alive there. The Mangadai in the north are also going to be beaten back by the Knights, but there's still a cavalry archer ball in the back of PLP's base, and that's the gold miners found out. That's going to be big losses again for PLP, whose eco is really suffering here in early imp. Has 1 minute advantage in the imp timing, but won't be able to use a trebuchet or anything to push, because he's just not in position to. So what are they going to get out of their early imp here? So we have an outpost by the Mongols. The woodlines are getting closer. Man, early imp. We're quite an even game state here. And finally that Mongol army is going to be taken out. But 20 more eco and still more army on the map for the Mongols. I'll take that game state if I'm SP here. Switching into camels now against those knights. Not a bad choice by any means. Finally we see elite skirm out of the Teutons, which presumably should have come a bit earlier. The Mangadai should have a field day with this. Look at this. How open and exposed is this north? The Mangadai, they're just taking everything here. They're gonna get chemistry as well in a second. Oh, how many villages are going down? PLP! No! This is the actual Titanic moment of the game. Ah, so sad to watch. PLP just struggling to stabilize this game state. And it's so hard against the Mongols, right? This is probably so difficult to play, because what do you have that can stop this? You kind of need skirmishers everywhere on the map, because you can't wall. It's enclosed. There's unwallable terrain, so it's not like you can just wall out the Mangadai. And chemistry is about to come in. Bracer has already completed. These units are gonna shred anything, aren't they? Even heavy camels on the way, which I'm not even sure SP needs at this point. I guess it is good against the Cavalier, but the pierce damage of the Mangadai is pretty high itself. Oh, look at them come in. The camels, it's just the perfect counter. And PLP, they are units which that was supposed to save the game. I don't think it's gonna work out too well. For now, the Cavaliers are still marching on, the sheer numbers being pretty good. And there's some raiding going on here, but it's gonna be broken up soon. And that's all of the army done again. BB and SP. They're looking to advance, and they've done it. Game is conceded. Nicely executed by Team Aussies here. And as the third seed, they make it all the way to the finals. Really nicely played. APM numbers extremely respectable as well for both guys here, actually. And that was a really nicely played game. an early imp there, late castle age. Mongols just able to roll with their army. 5,000 extra res gathered. And man, I love this civ. But more importantly, this closes the semi-finals for our mid-elo bracket. Well played to PLP and Elhyar. It was close games here in all three. They did a good job for sure. But their run is sadly gonna end here in the tournament. And we switch over there. Here, yep. Well, this is the bracket. And with this series in the books, we have Bebe and Salted coming all the way from the first round into the finals. Can I actually edit this? Does this work? Almost, actually. Hey, yeah, this works. This is gonna be our finals, guys. How about that? This is gonna be the finals of the event. Date to be determined. But they're going to play a best of 3 there, just in the same format that we've seen in the first and second rounds, for 100 euros between the two players of the winning team. So that's exciting. Congratulations to Bebe and Salted, Team Aussies, as they dubbed themselves, for getting there. They had a competitive and good run. And so they're getting the chance to face up against the number 1 ranked team, the 1 seed, Daniel and Huni, who have a lot of elo. Well, mainly Daniel has a lot of elo. He's just a actual pro player. He's playing in some S tier events, so he's certainly scary. Huni on the other side, 12 to 1300s in terms of elo, a little bit below Bebe. Maybe that's an angle to exploit for the Team Aussies here. We'll see about that though. Yeah, well, that's gonna be it for today. It was a good series there. Congrats to them, and shout out also to Elhyar and PLP, French team, for participating here. Sadly wasn't enough this time around, but it's still nice that they were able to make time and participate as well. Okay, that's gonna do it from me for today. I got a lot of work left to do, so I sadly won't be able to cast any more today. That includes Hera's Colosseum, but hopefully I'll be able to get another set in tomorrow. We'll see about that. Thanks for coming out, everybody, though. It was a nice one. And if you're interested in any other games from the Newbie and the Beast tournament or from Hera's Colosseum, I've got, well, all of the games I've casted are available in YouTube playlists on my channel if you want to check those out.